we're at Columbus City Hall, and I wanted to just talk a little bit about the development of this building. I mentioned that the earlier City Hall from the 1920s was torn down, and it happened to coincide at a time that there was talk about moving government buildings to the riverfront. Actually, starting in 1908, there had been a move all along to beautify the riverfront. It was a working river. It was not very attractive. By the way, it was never a navigable river. So it was like just, industry was just dumping waste into the river. So there was talk about it, but it was the opportunity to start moving buildings to create this riverfront civic center. The city was it was interesting. Instead of selecting a single architect from Columbus, because there were some really prominent Columbus architects during that time period, these architects, a whole group of them came together and formed the Allied Architects of Columbus. So they would all get the commission, and they did. And so originally the building was designed as a U, and this back part facing Front Street, that's Front Street, was actually open. And from the interior, you can kind of see some of that exterior that was a courtyard. And then that was enclosed later. So it was always designed to be a really important building. And when you're in a capital city, there's always this dynamic between the State House and the Capitol and your city government. This is interesting because that's a state building across the street, and they're all state buildings up and down and a federal building. So it really was very much designed to bring all that public architecture together. The Columbus statue stood on that pedestal with the two trees. So that was its original location from the time it was installed in 1955. The artist was Italian. It was a gift from the citizens of Genoa. They had a large send-off party of thousands of people. Ironically, it came on a ship called Cristoforo Colombo, which is Christopher Columbus in Italian. It was an Italian ship. The artist, it was dismantled and brought in a number of big crates and shipped by rail from New York, where it landed, and reassembled on the site. The artist was here to supervise the reassembly. And it was dedicated in 1955 on Columbus Day. And there's a photo of about 100,000 people attending that event. So it was a pretty significant event for the city of Columbus when that happened. For many, many, many years, every Columbus Day, there was a parade and a wreath would be, they'd have a ceremony here. But that's kind of where it stood. And really, there are a few monuments around Capitol Square, mostly having to do with, flags, but also police and firefighters and that kind of thing. So it is not going back there. I don't know if anything will go there. There's been talk about doing something else. I don't know if that will happen. I think there are 19 states that have a city named Columbus. This is by far the largest city named after Columbus. And it was the first sister city relationship Columbus had with Genoa. And it was made as a gift in recognition of that sister city relationship, which was kind of a new concept. A lot of that came about after World War II, the idea of partnering with cities in other places. Columbus now has 10 sister city relationships, literally all over the world. But Genoa was the first one.